What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So the Heidel ball was yesterday, and what you guys are seeing on screen is basically a little roadmap of what is going to come out in the future. We got a bunch of codes on screen as well. Check down there. It's 50,000 crons, a bunch of outfits, actually even more than that, and a lot of fail stacks. But I wanted to basically give you a recap of what's going to be coming up. And basically, for all of you who didn't watch it, yes, I know it was late at night for some of you guys, but yeah, my opinions, I thought it was overall pretty good. And I'll tell you some of the things that I thought were pretty good that is not also in here. So one, actually, it's in there. Let's just talk about it. So first of all, let's go down from left to right because those are coming out in a few days, whereas the other ones are coming out, you know, in the next few months or so. So anyway, first of all, what is Hyperboost? Basically, for all of you who are on seasonals, if you're trying out the game for the first time, Hyperboost is like they're giving extra stats to Vala gear, which is seasonal gear. So it'll help you get caught up a lot faster. So seasonal is considered the tutorial of the game and the boosting the gear stats for that. So it's going to help you speed up everything, which I think is a good thing. My stance on, you know, I know this is going to be a hot topic and people are like, you know, hot take. I actually think it's good that they're giving, you know, catch-up mechanics and making things easier for new players because, you know, it's very hard itself to get new players to come into Black Desert. It's a very intricate game. There's a lot of stuff to learn. And so, like, this game, it's always been very difficult to, you know, get new players to join the game. So I think that catch-up mechanics are always good. And the way I would see it is, like, even if you are at the end game, you have all the gear and everything, guess what means absolutely nothing if there's no players? Your gear, everything you've worked on. So I think, you know, catch-up mechanics and everything are actually very good and healthy for the game. So yeah, I'm not upset when they give out like free black stars or, you know, anything that they give out to new players. Even though I'm at the end game, I think it's completely fine. So I think these are good. Next, we have the new class, the Agent. We kind of knew this. They put out a trailer. It's basically the Deadeye's brother in terms of lore and everything. It's a, you know, gun class in a way. You know, if we play Deadeye, it's kind of the same thing, but with magic. I think that's cool. We're going to be playing through that when it comes out, obviously in a few days. And we'll be doing it on seasonals so you guys can see what it's all about. I'll be playing it for the first time. You guys can watch me play it, or you can play it yourself. It's always good. And yeah, if you want to watch a trailer of it, it's already live. Next thing I want to talk about is the Monster Zone, the Sulfur Golem. Now this one, I didn't actually completely catch what the AP recommended zone is, but basically it's like golems at sulfur. What's different about this and why is it special? I think it's just another way that the Olin's piece drops. As if I remember correctly, they announced a spot and then they showed the Rich Merchant Ring piece that came along with it. So I'm pretty sure there's just a solo spot that, you know, drops the Olin piece as well. So for all of you who are working on that and, you know, it's been hard to get the Olin's piece because you don't have a group or anything, I'm pretty sure that is the new spot for it. So we'll try it when it comes out as usual. I like to try it and test all the new spots, see if it's worth it. So yeah, well, that comes out next week. We'll make a video. All right, going into August and September, we got Adania Part 2. And later on, next following month in September, we got the new main quest. And I think the higher level, Hadum is the higher level boss that comes with it. Boss or a high grind spot. So, yeah, we all knew Adania Part 2 was coming out. They've announced it way before, so that wasn't a surprise to anyone. New region. What does that mean for all of us? New knowledge, grind spots, a story, but that one's coming out later, as we talked about in the main quest. There's going to be more bosses, quality of life stuff, the usual region expansion. So, yeah, a bunch of cool stuff they announced in there. Grind spots going up into the 420 sheet AP, but we obviously need more stuff, as in they're coming out with new accessories, like a new way to convert Charazods into the new accessories for all of you who are wondering about that one. It's going to work similar to how Charazods were. So like basically if you have a Nov Charizod or something, or a Pen Charizod, you get to convert into the newer one. Is it worth doing? Absolutely, especially if you don't have new fail stacks and everything. I think they showed a chart of what the enhancement rates are all about. But it is essentially the same way as Charizard, like the way you get it, exchange rate, but with higher stats. So I think that's completely fine. Accessories have never really been too hard to get. Like, obviously, it's for someone who's never done it before. You're like, oh my god, that's trillions of silver. But trust me, in terms of calculations and math now, even if you were to pity every single deck Charizard, that's the equivalent of like one Nov Sovereign at, pity. So like, yeah, it's a lot, absolutely, but it's not the hardest thing in the game to go for, which I think makes it, reasonable, and the rates aren't like 1 or 2%. So, it's always nice to see numbers that aren't 1% in success rates. That's always nice. So yeah, region was probably the biggest thing people were going to be talking about and everything, so we knew that was happening. Next, we're going to be getting the Great Ocean changes. So they announced yellow boat gear. So everyone for the Carrack and the Morning Light Pantheon, I think, boss, or not boss, the that boat. So yellow grade gear, new bosses, or like new ocean content and everything. I think that's very exciting, because every time they get new ocean content, grind spots, or gear, that's always something that I've been doing. I don't really do many videos of it, just because I don't think sailing is fun to watch, but it's fun to do, kind of thing. So we might talk about that. We might go for it when that comes out in late August. So ocean content, believe it or not, that was actually very exciting news that they talked about, and I'm happy for him. Navigation improvements, bunch of quality of life for that, and they made, the way they announced it was like they moved some things around it smoother to control your boat, and there's more options. Like, how it's like disembark, embark, where those buttons are. It's kind of like that, but more options now. And so I think that's very good. Okay, so going into the next one down the list is DirectX 12 FSR 3.1 DLSS, and September is FSR 4.1. That is probably one of the biggest highlights for me. As we all know, BDO is probably one of the most unoptimized games. Remastered mode is either too bright or too dark. So having the thing go up from FSR 1, which we have now, which is beyond outdated, to FSR 3.1 DLSS or an FSR 4, that is a huge change. I thought that the BDO engine was locked into 1 and we couldn't even go further. So this is a very nice graphical update. And, whether you're on an AMD card or an NVIDIA card, this is going to be amazing for you. So hopefully remastered actually, looks really good. And I'm very excited for this one. This isn't even a real BDO thing. This is more just a graphics update and engine stuff. But that was probably one of the biggest highlights for me, because, remastered, for anyone that plays on it now, day is sometimes too bright, nights are too dark, and it's very hard to get a balance of, night and day for that one. August 5th, Guild Fame. So basically, the way it works is if you do quests and everything, you do a bunch of stuff with your guild. It's kind of like, it's not karma, but you get points, and then you could use those points on other things like one-sided war decks, which that was a huge surprise that they announced. Guild Fame, you do guild quests, you get points, you spend the points on a bunch of different like rewards and stuff for your guild, or activities, and it's probably a better word. So that's coming out early next month. Very interesting feature. Next, we have the Marnie's Combat Analyzer. So you guys know how BDO doesn't really have numbers in the game, like damage numbers. That's what they're adding. It's a little chart that shows you how much damage you've done. I think it's more going to be used for competitive PvP, but also, you know, seeing how much damage you've done in PvE is probably a good thing. But the Combat Analyzer is like you hit something, it shows you how much damage you've done to it. It's a very nice feature. That thing is probably going to make the game a little bit more toxic, and, you know, I understand competitive. I think it's a good thing that they're adding this. I've kind of wanted it since day one, but just know that, like, you know, when you add numbers to the equation of literally any game, it kind of makes people more competitive, and, you know, that it is what it is. But overall, I think it's a good thing. I'm happy they're adding it. So, August 12th, we have max level 70. I actually thought the max level was 75, according to that announcement. But I think 70 is like the new soft cap in a way, but 75 is the hard cap. So this was a big change, and I was like, whoa, they're actually doing something about this after all these years. So you know how 66 right now is where most people stop, because after pushing past 66 is very difficult and time consuming, and there's not much incentive to do it. They're kind of revamping the entire system where, you know, level 70, according to that thing, is the max level. And that's actually, I talked to Jimmy about this the other day. If you guys know, Jimmy is a bot, the streamer, dude trying to push max level. And he wasn't happy about that. I think there are a lot of things that they could do and not cap it. So, you know, how pushing levels has always been a competitive thing for some people, and it's definitely not a majority. But I think that capping levels is not a good thing. There are a bunch of solutions that they could do, like, you know, take out the stats you get from pushing levels. That way everyone's on an equal playing field. You know how level 65, or the odd number levels, 61, 63, 65, and so on, gave you one hidden AP. The way they're doing it now is levels past it are going to give you some sheet AP and DP, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. Obviously, they're going to be making it easier to level up, but with the max level, you basically just pushed out all the people who are pushing levels, and I don't think it's a good thing. Maybe if you guys want, we'll bring Jimmy back to talk about it, share his opinion and everything. But he's definitely talked about it and everything. So, yeah, if you want to know his opinion from someone who is already level 70, go watch him. Next, we have console NA server move. That does not affect PC players, but if the console servers get moved to a central location, basically the way it worked on PC a while ago was, obviously, that the servers were on the West Coast, and then they moved it somewhere, I think like Texas, where it's central. So, you know, the people who live in central obviously get the best ping, but people who live on East and West get a not as bad one, as a more neutral one. So I assume that's the same thing for console. If so, I think it's a good thing that it may not. The only time it's bad is if you are getting a straight downgrade. Like, let's say it's on the West Coast now and you live there, but it's going to Central. It's going to make yours worse. But I think for the majority of people, the server move is probably a better thing. Next, we have unified life skill gear. So basically, you know how there's they have like all-in-one presets. Well, maybe not that one, but like the crystal preset that you can use on all your characters. They're going to have that for life skill gear. I think that's very good, because it's actually obnoxious swapping over your gear if you want to do gathering on multiple characters, or if you gather on one character, then you do fishing, or any other life skill where you have to move your gear. It was just more of an obnoxious task, but now that life skill gear is unified on all your characters, as far as I understand, or even if it's like, you know, what is it? Light stones and artifacts where you can only use it on one at a time, not all of them. I think that's completely fine. I just didn't want to have to move them through the bank and swap them out. It wasn't, it was just more of an annoyance thing than ever. It's a nice quality of life. Content scheduler. So that one is like, you know how if you look in game and you can see all your quests and everything, I'm pretty sure you could just like pin some things where it tells you like, hey, this is happening on this day. It's kind of like having an IRL notepad, like, and it just tells you when things are happening. I think it's nice, quality of life. So now we're going into October and November. Max level 75 and EXP adjustments. So yeah, as we just talked about, August max level 70, October is 75. They're probably going to be adjusting that in, you know, over time through months. I already talked about my opinion on that one. Maybe we'll just bring in some guests, returning guests, and we could talk about that even further. All-in-one PvP rankings. I think that's just like a unified leaderboard. I don't really know what else to say about that one. It's probably good. PvP rankings. It's good. Next we have Family Dish Patch. That one is, I don't really know what to say. It's just like a lot of stuff that, like, your family account and your characters. It's kind of like more unified with things. I don't really know too much about it, but we'll talk about that more when that comes out. Okay, next we have quality of life. Adventure log integration. So that one, it basically shows you everything you have to do. It's more detailed. You know, the adventure log is just more detailed so people don't get confused. Treasure Codex. This one shows you exactly where all the treasure items are, like which, like we already know in a monster log info what items or what grind spots drop which treasures. I've talked about that in previous videos. Now it's more obvious. They're going to have its own tab. It's going to show you the grind spots for all of the treasure items for, I believe, all 4 major treasure items. Then there's the horse one, but I don't think the knoll is going to be on there. The gathering one, the Star of Nostos, or the horse training one. But I think for the 4 major ones, they're just going to show you all the grind spots as like one page where it's like, for example, Olin's Valley. Here are the 6 grind spots for Olin's. This is what the piece drops, and then, you know, where all they are. So I think that's a very nice change for all the people who are pushing treasure items. I'm glad I'm done, but for everyone else, I think that's a good thing. Guild strategy mapping. It's kind of like an in-game Discord pin. I don't know. Like most people who are in guilds in this game, you have a Discord for it. Guild strategy is kind of like this is what we're doing today. It's essentially, here in your guild Discord, we have a channel for upcoming events. That's that, but in game. It's nice. Fairy appearance and skill improvements. I don't think I really caught that one, or I was like checked out of that part, but in terms of like fairy appearance, it's probably just outfits and or skill retuning, because we talked about that in my fairy video where I was like, some of these skills are useless in 2026. Maybe they're tweaking those, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. Finally, additional updates is world and field boss improvements. So some of the field bosses and world bosses, or you know how they're like on a random timer and or not even one. For example, one of them they mentioned was the Rar, the hunting boss. That is being upgraded to a world boss. So, you know, the heart that drops from there is going to be more common. And then there's going to be a bunch of field bosses that get upgraded to, you know, regular ones, which, you know, should have happened years ago because some of the field bosses don't even die. So I think, you know, making them actually do something is good. And yeah, that's nice. PvE, PvP, and life skill improvements. We don't really know what that actually means too much until it comes out, until we get more details. But, you know, I assume it's just quality of life, or balance changes as usual. And new treasure, more life skill treasure, and more. So, yeah. Anyway, that's about it. That's the highlights of what happened at the ball. That's about, there's probably a few more things, but it's like these are the main attractions for the current, upcoming roadmap few months. And with that said, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys all have a fantastic day. Good luck on your enhancement taps and everything. Make sure to use the codes on screen. Beyond the Journey is a 300 stack, or 250, 355, or 350, and a 450, 50,000 crons. That one is the big ticket one. And the Thank You All Adventurers is 10 outfit boxes. That's nice. So, anyway, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Would love to see you guys come back. Throughout the time that these release, I'll be making videos of them and talking about them in more detail. So, yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Peace.